So here is a Japanese maple tree that you may have seen me work on recently with air layering, and it was always planned to make the bottom as a larger bonsai tree. And it is a grafted tree, and the grafters at the bottom is not looking bad at all, but it will improve in time after a few winter washes of lime, sulphur and water, which will bleach the bark lovely white. So before we can start any work on this tree, we need to be removing all the foliage. They should have dropped a couple of weeks ago, but because it's all new growth since the chop, they've been hanging on, but they are coming off fairly easy, and we just need to remove them all individually, making sure that we're pulling out away from the tree to help protect the buds. Now what we can do here is with a light grip and just pull our hands down the branch, and they all just come off nicely, being sure to not damage any of the buds as we do this process. So all the growth here is just from one season. It had hardly anything at the bottom before the chop, and I'm fairly impressed with the amount it's put on. Now all the foliages are removed, it gives us a bit of an idea, and what I want to do is build a canopy at the top with these branches, try and put some shape with the wiring. And there is a few possibilities which route we can go. There's some branches that we want to take off, there's some branches we want to keep, but this should make an interesting tree. This bit here will probably bring down a little bit, but there is also this ugly stump on the side here that I need to reduce, and it's died back lovely since the chop from the air layers. And we're going to be using the concave cutters today, and it doesn't have to be perfect yet. We can make it look a lot nicer in time, but we're just going to remove as much as possible of it that we can. And that is looking a lot more nicer. But there's also this one at the top which is dying back. I'm sure that we can reduce it a lot nicer than what it's looking, and we'll seal it up afterwards just to help prevent any further dieback. And that's definitely looking a lot more smoother. So we're just going to have a quick spin around to see what we're actually working with here. I think we're going to raise up the table to bring it up a bit more height. And it's now time to remove anything we don't want for the design. And what we will be doing is removing anything that's growing in awkward places, or anything that we won't be using. And there's a lot of it. So we've cleared all the growth from the main trunk, and I'm liking how it's looking so far. We've got a main trunk and it splits off into two to a side branch, and up here will be all the top of the tree. So now we're just going to get all the wire on at the top. Normally I'll work from the bottom up, but I thought it would be easier to get the top of the tree done first this time around. Now I am using cheap wire this time. I thought I had a lot more wire left, but I've put in a new order for some more. So we're now using this cheap blue wire. I don't know if it's going to do the job well, but let's find out. And I've also decided to cut back as the wire I've got isn't strong enough. So we're going to have a little cut back just so the wire can hold the branches in place. They will be continued to grow out next year either way, so they can thicken. But in due time that will be about building the ramification. So now we can get the rest of the wire on. And what we're using now is a bit of recycled wiring which I found wrapped up from an old guy wire, and I'm using it on the thicker branches at the top. And as I'm getting this wire on and I'm pushing the branches up, it is giving me more of an idea of what this tree can look like, but we won't really truly know until we start bending the branches into place. Now you're probably asking me why I'm just not choosing one apex to grow up the top. Well, it's something what I normally do when I look in nature and I see larger trees. I look up and they have more than one apex to build in the top canopy of the tree. And I feel like this is going to be building the top of the tree a lot easier than just working on one branch for an apex. So now we're going to get a bit of wire on the side branch, which I do want to bring down a little bit, not too much, but I feel like it's too close to the top. And when bending the branch down, you have to be really careful, as these branches do snap very easily. And at the moment, that's looking at a more desired height away from the top part of the tree. And I'm also undecided about what to do with these back pieces, but we'll get to that eventually. Now it's all about building the top of the tree and getting it all in shape. And I'm going to be doing this while sitting down, as if I'm standing next to a real life-size tree and I'm looking up at it, trying to visualize the ramification built with the main branches in place. Normally it's advised to design the tree or shape the tree at an eye level, but I'm not that type of person. I do things in my own way. And it really is just playing about to see what looks right in my mind. So I've decided to stand up because I was struggling to reach it, and it's just having a look to see what's right and what's wrong. And it's also like playing a game of chess, thinking 10 moves ahead on how the tree is going to respond to what I do. And at this point I'm thinking, it doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to look right until that ramification is built in. So I decided to snap that branch back because there was actually a snappage there anyway, and that is when I come to realise maybe it'll look a little bit better to my vision if I chop it all back, as the branches are just too long right now to put in place and too much shape to be given. And don't worry, I'm using some garden shears. They're nice and sharp to go through the wire. I know, I'm probably going to get told off by someone for using the wrong tools. And now that's looking a little better, and now we can have a bit more of a play with the branches at top and getting them in a shape to my liking. And now while that's the top done for now, we do need to be getting some cut paste on where I cut back these stumps, as they are starting to bleed. Maybe it was a little too early to cut back that hard, but this cut paste should stop it. So here we are towards the end of the video, and let's try and go through my plan for this tree. I believe it was Scott Winard from Let's Do Bonsai. In my previous video he mentioned that he would like to hear my thought process, and in all honesty, while I'm doing the trees I don't really have a thought process. I will literally look at a tree and visualize what I can try and attempt to do. But yeah, so what I am attempting to do is set the foundations to build a lovely canopy at the top here. Have this here as the side branch. These will eventually lead in to the top up here, but these need to grow out a bit more. Now I'm a bit undecided what to do with this back branch. I may build it as a lower back branch to build up this space behind, and having this as the front. So yeah, it doesn't look anything too special right now, but as these begin to thicken and ramify throughout the next couple of years, this tree should start looking absolutely beautiful. It is well on its way, but yeah. Anyway, come next year, come spring, I may do some additional root grafting, just to improve the surface roots, or nebari as some of you people like to call it. But yeah, and it will also be placed into this training pot. I don't know if you can see it on here, but yeah, got a lovely little bonsai training pot for it to go in, as I can't get it in there right now, as this tree has been in this pot for the last couple of years, and it was originally an 8-foot tree which I attempted to air layer this year. Was very successful in the air layering, but unfortunately they caught a bacteria and died off. But yeah, it happens. It absolutely happens. So yeah, have a little quick spin around. So if you liked this video, please comment, like and subscribe. If not, no worries, and I'll catch you in the next one.